Hi, today we're going to look at subtracting integers, and there's only one rule for subtracting integers, and it's pretty easy. Now, it's two parts, but it's pretty easy. It's keep at opposite. So, what does that mean? We keep the first number, we change the subtraction to the addition, then we take the opposite of the second number. Then we do one of the two addition rules. So we're doing keep at opposite, we change the subtraction problem to an addition problem, and then we do one of the two addition rules. So before we go over some practicing of that, let's kind of give you some background information. And you've done this a little bit when we did dividing a fraction. So let's think of an example of when we did dividing of fractions, and it kind of looks something like this. We had 3/4 divided by, we'll say 6/7. So what was the rule when we were doing that? We were trying to figure out, we would do keep, change, flip. But a lot of teachers don't like that keep, change, flip. They like to say the word keep, multiply, reciprocal. And we told you to get used to that, keep, multiply, reciprocal, because the reciprocal is really the math term. So what would that look like if I took keep, multiply, reciprocal? Well, we would keep our first one, 3/4. That doesn't change. That's why we're keeping it. We change our division to a multiplication problem, and I'm going to use the dot in the center. We're not using the x anymore, especially in 7th grade when we're going to start using the variable x. And then what's the reciprocal of 6/7? It's going to be 7/6. And now there's two ways of doing this, but we've taught you to practice your cross simplifying. So we would change our 3 and our 6. What goes into 3 and 6? You can divide both of them by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And then we solve it. We can't simplify anymore, so it's 1 times 7 equals 7. 4 times 2 is 8. We have our 7/8. Now notice that when we did our keep, multiply, reciprocal, we changed it from a 3/4 times 7/6, and then we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything at all to this one. Once we did our keep, multiply, reciprocal, we forgot about it, and we were focusing on the multiplication skills. Well, that's kind of similar to what we're going to do with our subtracting integers. So let's kind of look at it, and then we'll kind of dissect it. We'll talk about how they relate. So the subtracting rule. It's one rule, but there's two parts. So first, we keep the first number. We change the subtraction to an addition. Then we take the opposite of the second number. And then we have to follow one of the two addition rules. So let's kind of solve some of these. -2 minus 5. We're going to do our keep at opposite. So let me just over here. And I like to write keep at opposite right there. So we're going to do our -2. What's the opposite of subtraction? Addition. What's the opposite of 5? -5. Now we're going to use one of our two addition rules. In this case, the signs are the same, so we add them up. 2 plus 5 is 7. Keep the sign of larger absolute value, which is the -5. So our answer is going to be -7. Or, again, if we're using the money analogy, you owe your mom $2, you owe your dad $5. What's your situation? Well, you owe a total of $7, so you're -7 in value. All right. Here we have another example, 4 minus 7. If you have $4, but you owe someone 7, what's your situation? Now, some of you can figure this out, but let's use the rule. Keep at opposite. We're going to keep the first one. I'm going to first change this to pick green. I'm going to say 4. We're going to change our subtraction to an addition. And what's the opposite of 7? We have -7. 4 plus -7. Are the signs the same or different? In this case, they are different. So what do we do when the signs are different when we're adding? Oh yeah, that's one of the weird ones where we say we're adding, but the signs are different. So the strategy is to subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3, which is the larger absolute value. Which one's further from 0? The -7 is, so I'm going to keep that sign, -3. Right, and then let's look at the last one. Let's switch our color here. Let's go with red. And we have -3 minus -1. So we're going to do our keep at opposite. We keep the first one again, so we keep the -3. We change our subtraction to an addition problem. And then what is the opposite of -1? That's 1. Once again, we're adding. The signs the same or different. They're different, so we got to subtract. 3 minus 1 is 2. Which is the sign of the larger absolute value? Which one's further from 0? The -3. So we're going to keep that negative there for a -2. And again, if they were canceling out, the -3 and the +1, the +1 and the -1 we could cancel. There'd be 2 left over. There'd be 2 negative leftovers. All right, so there you have it. There's subtraction rule. It's really simple. You just have to remember, keep at opposite and then do one.